Welcome to Tuesday's TimesCast. Today in the caucus, a look at the Obama administration's evolving campaign strategies for the midterms.
The latest being, of course, a focus on foreign contributions.
Jim Rutenberg reports in today's paper how anonymous donors are funneling millions into midterm campaigns. He answers reader questions. And from Gaza, breaching barriers using sport.
Mike, 3 weeks till Election Day. President Obama still seems to be working on what his closing argument is for the Democrats.
Yeah, you know, he's got this consistent message. He doesn't want to take, he wants voters to not take the country back towards the Bush administration, but he's trying different ways of approaching that. The latest being, of course, a focus on foreign contributions and undisclosed contributions to some of these conservative groups.
The American people deserve to know who's trying to sway their elections.
Republicans' big advantage on the advertising front with money from the outside. The Democrats have to make some tough calls about who they're going to support. We saw yesterday the Democratic Party beginning to cut off some candidates, Republicans going into new districts. What should we be looking for?
Basically, what you're looking for is two totally different strategies. The Republicans trying to push their advantage, go into places where they normally wouldn't necessarily be competitive. Democrats circling the wagon, trying to say, look, we can't spread our money around everywhere. We've got to pick those places where we know we have to stop the bleeding.
What should we be listening for from the president over these final 3 weeks?
He's going to be all over the country. He's gone into a sort of 7-day-a-week campaign mode. Expect him to continue to hammer this question about whether or not the country is going to move forward or backwards. It's a choice, he says. That's going to be the theme all the way till Election Day, and we'll see whether the voters buy it.
In today's Times, Jim Rutenberg reports how anonymous donors are funneling money into midterm campaigns. He answers reader questions.
Alan from Huntington, New York asks, why are the names of these contributors not available through the Freedom of Information Act? Well, Alan, nothing would make our jobs easier as reporters if this was available through the Freedom of Information Act. The truth is these donors are taking advantage of a section of the tax code that has created nonprofit groups that can weigh in on elections while keeping their donors secret. These donors would have been playing one way or another in the election. If it were several years ago, they would have given their money to the political parties. That's not allowed anymore, so these nonprofits give them a vehicle to give money, pursue their interests, but not say who they are. Now Mike from the great borough of Queens asks what he calls the obvious question. Can Congress enact a law that would forbid this type of silent money and force the donors to reveal their identity? Well, Mike, the short answer is they're trying. Senator Schumer here in New York is pushing something called the Disclose Act that would force large donors' identities to be disclosed and their interests revealed and the way their money was being spent reported. Now, Mitch McConnell, the minority leader in the Senate, Republican of Kentucky, is very much against this. The Republicans have blocked it. Their argument is that everybody has free speech rights, including big corporations, and they should be able to advocate for their issues without being persecuted, and that's what they believe would happen if their identities were disclosed.
Sarah Sorcher reports on a dangerous form of escapism in the war-torn Gaza Strip.
Palestinians living in the blockaded Gaza Strip face many kinds of obstacles. But these three young men are hurdling over the ones in front of them. This is parkour, a physical discipline where one conquers obstacles with efficiency and speed.
I feel the freedom. I feel the rush, the adventure.
Other than the siege and the difficult situation, there is a war every so often, and shelling. This game makes me forget all of these things.
The conservative social norms of the Hamas-controlled territory prevent Gaza's only parkour players from showing off their moves on the streets. So the ruins of the Jewish Gush Katif settlement provide a makeshift playground. The group trains by watching online video clips during the hours when they can get electricity. They're building an online presence through Facebook, MySpace, and YouTube, hoping their skills will eventually lead them out of Gaza. But these three have seen their share of injuries.
I fell down and fractured my ribs, and I cannot move my back and neck.
The young men claim that this is just the first move of many.
That's it. It's in my blood now.
Reporting for the New York Times in Gaza, this is Sarah Sorcher.
Join us again tomorrow for TimesCast.